Hello everybody, welcome back to Access Blockbusters and welcome to a quick non-spoiler reaction to episode 3 of season 2 of The Last of Us. But first, if you haven't subscribed to the Access Blockbusters YouTube channel, make sure to do so. This is going to be a completely non-spoiler, quick, immediate reaction to the episode. But if you're looking for a more in-depth discussion, just like we do every single week here on the Access Blockbusters pod, make sure to subscribe, give this video a like, and leave a comment down below, because later on in the week, we will be doing our usual spoiler discussion for episode 3, season 2 of The Last of Us as well. So stay tuned for that. Before any of that, let's get into my immediate reaction for The Last of Us season 2 episode 3. It was really a question, and I'm sure it was a question that was on everyone's mind, especially those of us who haven't played the games, but I'm sure even for those of you who have played the games, how were they going to follow up the last episode? Spoilers, major spoilers for episode 2 of The Last of Us season 2, but after Joel's death, how are you going to follow that up? I mean, it's crazy. I know that people who have played the games know that there's a direction that they're going in. For me, I've known very little about what happens after this, other than just some vague hints here and there. But to me, it really was, okay, how are they going to continue on with Ellie's story? So in this episode, we see the aftermath. We see, again, in the vaguest possible non-spoilery terms, we see the aftermath of what happens after Joel's death. And more importantly, I think, for me, we get a sense of the direction of the show moving on from here. Because look, I mean, you take away one of the biggest characters and arguably one of the biggest draws. I'm not talking about the story itself or the characters within the story, but just for the audience members. One of the biggest draws of the show, Pedro Pascal as Joel. You take him away, and what are you left with? Well, Bella Ramsey obviously is a powerhouse, but the question is she really playing off Joel well, and will she stand on her own as her own character and her own journey? I'm sure that people who played the games had very similar questions when they killed Joel in the games as well, and the answer was pretty much yes across the board, because the second game was acclaimed as well. So to me, that was my question heading into this episode. And I have to say, well, this episode didn't have the big, set pieces and didn't have the same kind of tension. It was a little bit of a slower, quieter episode. It gave the show direction. Now, that direction I like so far, but I think the jury's still out as to how it's going to resolve itself, and I think we have to see where it goes from here. But I do think that we understand now, okay, what is this season going to be about? Taking the characters who are left after the Battle of Jackson and after Joel's death. So I'm very interested still. I think this episode was sort of a bridge towards what the whole season is going to be, and in that regard, I think it did a very good job. And obviously, I just have to say Bella Ramsey did an incredible job. Some scenes in here, obviously her character was the most impacted by Joel's death, and seeing the way that, Ellie reacts to it is perhaps the strongest part of the episode, and the post-Joel death, post-golf club incident of The Last of Us Season 2. So I'm still interested to see what happens next. I'm not one of those people who's like, I'm done with the show after Joel died. I'm very curious to see what goes on in the rest of the season. So guys, what did you think of Season 2, Episode 3 of The Last of Us? Make sure to subscribe, give this video a like, and stay tuned for the full spoiler discussion coming on later in the week for this episode. And that will do it for me, and I will see you guys in the next one.